I come from Africa, and in Africa, mental health, it does exist, but this word you hardly hear it. And if you do hear it, it's more like they expect you to be walking naked, running around. And because of that stigma, people don't really come around, or they don't even know they're going through a mental health series or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing that I see in these situations is the word mental health itself. I look at it as a massive, big round box that has loads of things inside, and it needs to be unpacked. We need to know what's inside. What is mental health really?
Well, mental health is the health of your mind. So we all have physical health. You know, we know that we have to look after our bodies, but we also have to look after our mind. And I think sometimes when we work with children, we do quite a lot of work in primary schools and things. So even tiny little children, it's drummed into them that they have to have the 5 fruit and veg a day. You know, they've got to keep their bodies hydrated, exercise and things like that, which is all amazing. It's all good, but it's all based around physical health. And there's nobody really talking very much about mental health. It is getting better. Celebrities are now talking about it more and more, but it is a stigma. So what we do at Calm Ahead is we try and normalise conversations around mental health, because the only way I feel that we can get rid of stigmas is by normalising it and talking about it. But we have worked in a lot of other communities, like you say, the African communities and Asian communities, and mental health is seen differently.
Yeah, it is.
The same with lots of things. A lot of the things that we deal with around mental health, because lots and lots of things affect your mental health.
Yeah. Since I've been in this country, I have heard a lot of names. There's ADHD, there's autism, and I'm like, okay, it's not stopping. They keep on coming. Are these also part of the things inside this mental health box that I visualize?
Yeah, but like I say, we all have mental health, but some people will have ill mental health, so good and bad. So we're all affected in lots of ways. So another thing that I say with children is mental health is a bit like the weather, so it's changing all of the time. Say you go through a bereavement, for example, that's going to affect your mental health.
It will.
But sometimes people will have their mental health affected, and there's not been a particular thing that's made it, that's triggered it. So
it's more of a brain thing as well.
Yeah, but more and more people are being diagnosed with neurodivergent issues now, and I think it's not that it's a new thing. It's always been there. We're just being more aware of these things. But yeah, I mean, it can be that sometimes you get up in the morning and the sun's shining and you feel great. Yeah, so that's your mental health, and it can fluctuate throughout the day. But actually, the issue, when problems arise, it's when it's affecting your life. If I use the example of bereavement again, if somebody, a family or friend has passed away, then you'll feel really sad about that. It's a nasty thing. Yeah, it's a sad thing. But if it's then affecting you, the way that you are living your life after maybe 2 or 3 weeks, then it could be then that it's not that you're just feeling a bit sad and it's not low mood. It might be then that you need to see a GP, and you might then get a diagnosis of depression. If you're worked up and anxious all the time, if you're anxious before you do an exam or a job interview, that's normal.
Yeah.
But if you're anxious all the time and it's stopping you going out, then that would need to be checked and diagnosed, and then you would deal with that.
You've just mentioned depression, and then most people when depressed, the answer now goes to, I'm just stressed. Is it the same, stress and depression?
No, but they can come together. So a lot of people will struggle with depression and anxiety. These days, our lifestyles are very fast-paced. Technology is an issue, pressures to look a certain way. There's a lot of pressures in the world now that I think are affecting people's mental health. And our COVID's had a massive impact on people's lives as well. So, depression and anxiety, they are different, but quite often they come together. and that can make things hard, really, because when you think you do need a diagnosis or you do need help, it's hard to pinpoint because lots of symptoms can be the same for different things. Yeah.
You've just given an example of COVID, and there are a lot of medical conditions that triggers, I think, mental health.
Yeah.
And I have a safe space for African women living with HIV, and it's called Agatha Space. Now, Agatha Space, HIV is really, it's got stigma, it's got discrimination, it's got people isolating themselves. Are these some of the symptoms of mental health when you're isolating yourself?
Absolutely. So, I remember back in the day when I was a little girl, there was the adverts about HIV, and there was like a big gravestone, and it was really, really frightening.
Yeah, I've seen it on YouTube.
Have you? Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah.
And now we know it's not the same.
We're
as that.
normalising it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the same with lots of things.
Yeah.
We do a lot of work around menopause. So when I was young, people would say, "Have you gone on the change yet?" And they wouldn't even say the word menopause. It'd be about going on the change. But
what was the change?
So it was like, they'd call it the change, but it meant, really, it was like your menstrual cycle had changed.
Ah, okay.
But that's what people would say. Or if you had like cancer, people would call it the big C. People wouldn't say the real word.
So what was HIV called? The big H?
No, it was just, it was always HIV, but it wasn't talked about different. Yeah, it was just made to be really scary. And I think...
A monster, like.
Yeah. I was young at the time, but the advertisements, it were obviously...
It was scary.
It was scary.
Let's be real. It's scary.
Yeah.
You see it, you're like, whoa. But now with the science, with the medication, it has really improved that people living with HIV now, if they are on medication and they are undetectable, they cannot pass it. So they'll have healthy children, they'll get married to somebody who is HIV negative and they cannot pass it on. But then it's the mental health side of it that really doesn't get talked about. And I think people don't even realize they're going through a mental health phase. And one, they don't know what mental health is, but now after this, I'm sure people now start checking themselves out, like, what am I going through? Is this a sign of mental health? Which we will talk about the signs as well. But I just wanted to understand if a long-term medical condition like HIV, you're taking medication every single day, you're staying away from people, you don't want anybody to know what you're going through. Literally, you're fighting a massive big battle on your own, inside your heart. Can this be a trigger to mental?
Yeah, absolutely. So any long-term health issue will affect your mental health.
Yeah.
The two go hand in hand. They will always affect each other.
Yeah.
So, for example, you were saying somebody living with HIV. You mentioned all the things then about that you can't, pass it on and things like that. Well, that's a lack of education. So a lot of people won't know that.
Yeah.
So people who have got the disease, they know that people aren't educated and don't know the facts. So that would affect the way that they speak about their condition.
Yeah.
Some people probably don't speak about their condition.
No, they don't.
So that's going back to like normalising these conversations. The more we speak about things,
The more that's normal.
yeah, and we're educating people.
Yeah.
But if you're not behaving naturally in a social environment, then that's going to affect your self-esteem.
Yeah.
It's going to affect your confidence. So that's what I was saying about it affects your life.
Yeah.
So it's not, once it's affecting your life, so if it's stopping you doing normal things, then that's affected your mental health. So, if you're not, socialising or doing activities that you'd normally would do.
Work, you can't open up, you're scared they'll find out and you're going to get fired. But we're going to go into that because there's help. If you've been fired from work for being found of living with HIV, we do support. Do support, and you can
But that is an issue with going for jobs. It's like, do you disclose that you've got a mental health issue?
No, you don't have to, because it doesn't affect anyone in your work. It's not affecting your work. You're not going to pass it on to anyone. It's like having diabetes. If you don't want to talk about you being diabetic,
but if you don't talk about it, is it because you're ashamed, and you shouldn't be ashamed of a health problem?
I think the question is, why are you saying it? Are you saying it because you just want to normalize the conversations? Are you saying it because you want people to be careful around you? Are you saying it because you want people to know that you're safe? There's nothing wrong with you? The question is, why do you want to say it?
Yeah.
What I say to the women I support is, if you're safe to say it, say it. I'm more than happy. I went away a few days ago with them, and for the first time, they shocked me. Because these are women that have lived in bondage, in a box, scared to talk about themselves. They can't even say they're coming to Agatha Space, because they know if somebody Googles Agatha Space,
that is, yeah.
they will know they're coming to me. For the first time, they were in a room, and they sat down. My name is blah, blah, blah. I'm coming from Agatha Space. I was like, whoa. Wow. And they started talking about Agatha Space, the kind of support they get. And these are the women that have stayed for years without opening up about a medical condition. Now, normalizing conversations, yeah, it's one of it.
But that's why it's so important, though, for places like you, because they've got their own community.
Yeah.
So there's nothing more isolating than thinking that you're the only person suffering with that.
Yeah.
You know, so now that they know that there's other people that will empower them then to speak.
Yeah.
And, you know,
And they will navigate now into the communities. But then it goes to disclosure. I don't tell them to disclose their status at all. Because one, I don't have a house to keep them if they are chased out of their houses because of stigma. I don't have the resources to support them at the moment. So it's a matter of, okay, let's use what we have to what we have now. Are you feeling safe to disclose your status? If the answer is yes, go on, I'll support you. You got my hand, you know I'm there with you. But if you're not safe to say it, wait until you feel ready to say it.
I think it's probably a personal thing, isn't it? Everybody's different.
Yeah, it is a personal thing. They feel judged.
Yeah.
Really. And I think that's where the fear comes from. And that fear, you've said, if you're not opening it up, it will trigger your mental health.
Yeah.
But now, merging to HIV and mental health, back again.
Yeah.
With mental health, people feel judged.
Yeah.
On its own. It's like, and then when you have HIV, it's a double.
Yeah.
Because you're being judged at having mental health, and then you're isolating yourself, you don't want to associate yourself. Now, there's also, when it comes to religion.
I was just going to say that in your culture as well, you've got the added thing of the religion as well.
Religion is a massive, big impact in our communities. Having mental health is having a demon. They'll actually put water on you, fire, you know, and then you have HIV as well, which you're even feeling worse to even talk about it.
Going back to that shame again, isn't it? And the other thing I wanted to mention though about like culture, you know, back in the day, HIV was classed as like a homosexual thing.
Oh yeah,
it was. But that's another thing that's like in you know
in our communities.
Your communities that's frowned on as well. But that's another thing that I feel really passionate that we should be, you know, accepting.
If you're LGBT community and you're a religious person and you have HIV, that's like 3 in 1. And you have mental health as well.
Yeah.
So it's like you just have labels all over you of demon. But what is the right thing to do if somebody goes to a pastor and say, I'm struggling with my mental health? What is the best the pastor can do to this person?
If you were to go to a pastor you know, and said you were struggling with mental health, it's just about knowing what services are out there, you know, what things are available.
Referrals.
Yeah, so it's signposting to, you know, there's mental health services, but you don't always need that. If we're talking about it, if we get rid of that stigma, then the embarrassment and the, you know, the effect on your self-esteem and things, then that bit of it isn't moved away.
Yeah.
You know, if you know, it might be that you need medication, but there's a lot of things you can do before that for mental health.
Also, what are the things that you can do for mental health?
Well, quite similar to what you would do for your physical health. So, you know, eating a healthy diet, you know, making sure that you're putting nutrition in your body. But again, it's like everything in moderation and balance. But exercise, people think that it's good for your body, which obviously it is, but it's also releasing chemicals in your brain. So
if I'm stressed now, I decide I'm going to the gym. I'm going to work it out. It's going to come out. And by the time you go home, you're tired.
Yeah.
You sleep. Yeah. You're not even thinking about, I am on medication.
It's not going to, you know, it's not going to make you solve all your problems, but it might make you feel a bit better. It might lift your mood. I know that exercise is good for mental health, but I also know that if you're really struggling with your mental health, going to the gym might be the very last thing you feel like doing. But if you do little and often, it might be that you can just about, get out and just go for a walk.
Yeah.
So being in nature is really good for your mental health. But there's something called the 5 ways to wellbeing, and it's a model that the NHS use and have done for years and years. But one of the 5 ways is active, so that's where the exercise bit comes into. Okay. But like I say, it could be, a little walk, but just doing little and often, then that might then make you feel a little bit more motivated or able to do one of the other steps. Another one of them is to connect. So that could, but like we've already discussed earlier, if you're struggling, you like isolate yourself and you stop doing things you enjoy. But connecting is really important.
Yeah, but then the connect itself, they are isolating because they're scared of these people. They will judge me, they will do this, sometimes it's also, I call it, when I'm teaching around, I say it's self-stigma, because it's all this thing of, what if? There's a word that I don't like even in my life. When I start applying that what if, I know I'm failing, and I tell myself, no, don't what if it, just go ahead and do it. So most of the times is the word what if. What if they found out I'm HIV positive if I go and connect? What if they find out I'm on medication? What if they find out I'm in poverty? What if they find out I've got this? So it's the what ifs that makes people to be scared to connect with the community. Yeah. And I think that's why I come along and say, okay, if you're scared to go everywhere, start from Agatha Space.
Yeah.
Let's build it from there. Let's build your confidence. Let's help you to have skills. Connect you maybe with work if you're struggling to find a job. If you're in the asylum system, you cannot find a job. Okay, we've got skills here. What kind of skills do you want? Because that's what I ask my women. I don't want to impose the skills on them, because understanding myself, I know there's some things I'm good at. There's some things I'm not good at. So it's a matter of, okay, what do you want? What kind of skills do you want? And if they say, I need sewing. Like now, everyone is excited about sewing. I'm like, okay, let's sew. I can't sew, but there are people who help us to sew. So it starts from there, Agatha Space, and then introducing them to the community. Here at the Junction, we'll be talking to people with lived experience, medical professionals, and religious leaders, community leaders, and anyone really who just want to come and share information about what is happening in the community, and also things that are affecting us in our everyday life. Things that you don't hear them in the communities. We will be your community to connect with. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Agatha Phiri, and I'll see you in the next episode.